All right. So we're actually talking about rehab tonight, which is an exit strategy, right? What we need really is buying strategies, marketing right now, right? And we have covered that. This is exit, right? Well, what do we do on the back end? How do we save money in rehabbing and so on? So hopefully you guys will learn a little bit. So we'll get into some simple stuff to begin with. We'll kind of get into a little bit more things that you guys might not be thinking about at the end, but it's simple as, you know, things we should know. For example, why I had a girl come to me last week. I want to do this dream home. This is what I've been dreaming about. It's on the market now, and I know they're going to take $480,000 for it. Please do it with me. What did you think I felt like? Run, run. Investment property is not your home, right? Can you imagine going into partnership with somebody that's going to do their dream home? Dream home. Dream home. I'm getting the toilet down at freaking Costco, baby. There ain't no dreams there, baby. I'm telling you right now. Ain't no dream happening in my freaking rentals, right? So it's not your home, right? We obviously need help. We need lots of help when we do rehab. What kind of help do we need? Contracting help, right? For the main thing. What else? Money? Absolutely. Obviously, we need a lot of help. Your ARV and your budget. Is that the most important thing in there? Click on that list. What's the most important thing? They're all pretty important, right? There ain't nothing more important than that. Know your after repair value. If I got that right, then I know what I'm buying it for, and I know what it budgets for. I can make a lot of mistakes. And you are. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, right? Ask me how I know this. I made a lot, okay? Even though when I thought I was doing great, I look back and go, God, I should never put that stuff in there like that. Okay. Permit the important stuff. Find the right contractors. Pretty simple, right? I don't permit everything. I don't do, like, probably to a fault. I mean, I'm not telling you guys not to do permits because you get yourself in trouble. Ask me how I know this. Okay? Way trouble. So you can, but I usually would permit important things. Sometimes I'll skate on a few things, but again, you didn't hear that from me. Knowing to market the property. Okay, sometimes we market it too fast. In this market, you can do that. So in other words, I'm gonna put a sign in the yard, I'm gonna start advertising this thing, I haven't even finished it yet. I can do that in this market, right? If it's a down market, oh no. Because you're only gonna get one shot at the people that are in the market. That house better be ready to go. Right? So we got to know in our different markets on how we're going to market and when we're going to market the property. We want to market it as soon as we can, right? We got to get out of this thing. Knowing your costs and selling costs and stuff. This is where a lot of people fail. Actually, this is where most people fail. Don't know how much I'm talking about new people that don't get any training. They don't know how much it costs to sell a house and how much their holding cost is. They go, wow, I can buy that house for this. Is what you see. By the way, when you get your wholesale guys that are new, they saw a podcast and you get the email from them. They're selling the house for $220,000 and it's worth $260 ARV, and they go, "Wow, this is freaking great! You can buy this house." You know, guess what? They don't know. They don't know how much it costs. Some of them do, and they're just telling you that, but. They don't know how much. A lot of people do not know. They think it's a deal, and that's our biggest problem in this market, is people that think a deal is a deal. Number one, 100%. That right there is worth the price of admission to know. Because when you're dealing with people, and you're new, and they tell you, I got this deal, you're going to remember Uncle Craig here said, don't freaking fall for the cheese, because a lot of times they think they got a deal. Why? Because they don't know what their exact holding and closing and selling cost is. If I have a house that's $200,000 and it takes me 5-6 months to sell it from top to bottom, my holding cost is going to be 15 grand. They don't know that. My commissions are going to be, depending on what you pay, 12 grand, right? They don't think of that. My closing costs are going to be 3 grand from buying to selling. They don't think of that, right? My utilities. my taxes, my termites, right? What else? My insurance. Good one. God, there's more.
Benzer.
What's that?
Benzer.
My Benzer. That they're going to hit you on the Benzer, right? Everybody know what a Benzer is? Don't know what a Benzer is. What does it stand for? Buyers.
Buyer inspection notice, seller response. The sellers, the buyers can ask the seller to go ahead and do any repairs.
Every time.
And the seller can choose
Every
to
time.
do them or do some of them or do none of them.
When you rehab a house, you are held to a higher standard. When somebody buys that house, every time they come in with a Benzer. I want you to fix all this stuff, because when you rehab a house, believe me, the inspector will find stuff. I'm talking about stuff. You're always, now you don't have to fix everything in this market. It's a lot of times you can get away with it. Say, look, forget it. But a lot of times you're going to want to fix a few things to make them happy. So you're always going to have a hit on a Benzer. No one thinks of that. No one. I'll hit a 200, when I'm figuring my numbers, I hit a $200,000 house in this market. I hit my Benzer at 700. And that's where my number is. I'll spend 700 on this house. In a down market, I might hit my Benzer at 1200 when I'm figuring my numbers. In a down market. Because I know in a down market, I'm spending money on that Benzer. See what I'm saying? No one thinks of that. Okay? That's why you have so many people in the market that think they have a deal that do not have a deal. All over the place. 100%. 97% of the people. Okay? All right. Make sure you're insured, right? Okay. There's different types of insurance, and I'll let you think about that one. Obviously, it's boring, but we got to be insured, right? Got to be flexible. What does that mean? Man, you get into a rehab, sometimes you run into things that you weren't expecting, and sometimes you're going to do things that you might not have thought you would do, and sometimes you got to spend money. I got into a big rehab, a big freaking rehab up on the hill, okay? I was planning on spending $40,000. Got in there, it was hickory. We were going to refurbish in hickory, these beautiful custom hickory cabinets, but they were hickory and they looked old, right? And I was going to paint them white. Got in there, couldn't paint hickory. Could not paint hickory. Had to be flexible. I'm like, okay, throw all that freaking stuff away that we're doing. We're going to redo this kitchen. Boom. Money, right? Because I just figured, man, this is too much money to be playing with. I've got to take less on my margins and put more money into this kitchen to get out of this thing. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about when I say flexible. Flexible. You got to change. Might need to spend money and take less money. That's the main thing. Don't be fools. It's not easy, right? What's that? Yeah. No, you went out there, right? Okay. 7 stages, right? Obviously, we're going to create a plan. When we create a plan, we're going to try to understand how we're going to lay out the property, right? But the most important thing is, in this list, what do you think it is? What do you think the most important thing in this list? Great. Scope of work.
Plan.
What's that?
Plan. Contractor.
Contractor. Scope of work. He's got it. You know, we could hire a contractor. I mean, obviously, you're going to hire contractors, but you're not going to know how good that contractor is. So we're going to tie that contractor down with a contract, and we're going to let our paperwork control, right? But contractors, even good ones that you've done good in the past, can really turn into bad ones later. You know, contracts have a lifespan. Ask me how I know that. All right, managing the rehab, walking through inspection, final payments, staging obviously is our last and foremost. But the scope of work is like a screenplay to a movie. God, you guys, I didn't realize how in-depth screenplays were until recently. And I'm old. I did not realize that, man, screenplays, they tell you, how you're moving move your head this way, move your hand up, and talk like this. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're really, a lot of screenplays are really in depth. That's what our scope of work is. It has to spell it out. And when you have that right, we can move. We can move pretty good. All right. Yes, we should bring this stuff to a rehab, especially a crowbar, right? In the beginning. Now, I forget that one a lot, and that's why I mentioned that, but sometimes I do need it. So we want to bring our estimator sheets, our checklists, of course, get a lockbox. That's the one I always remember, which is good. A copy of keys. Sometimes I remember that, sometimes I don't. Don't have to worry about a camera anymore, do we? Got it on us, right? Okay, right when we're walking through that rehab, what's the main thing that we're looking at? The layout. The layout will kill you. Layout will kill you. You'll find in Tucson that houses, a lot of houses have additions on them, right? And the square footage in those additions are worth half as much as the regular square footage of a house. You have an Arizona room in the back. Your wholesalers and your people say, look, it's got 1,800 square feet. It's wow. But the layout is not any good. So it doesn't help. That room helps. And through the years, this is my own experience, and you guys can learn from this experience. Through the years, I came up with a number and I figured it out. It was through the hard years, through the low years, I should say, weren't the hard years. The low years is when I got a lot of houses with Arizona rooms. And I figured out that I started hitting, after a bunch of loss, I started hitting my rooms at 50 cents on the dollar. 50 cents per square foot on the dollar. So if I had a home that was worth $100 a square foot, I took the square footage on the Arizona room and hit that Arizona room at $50 a square foot, subtracted it. Or added it, but subtracted, however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying, right? All right, so that's important. So the layout, I cannot tell you how important the layout is. You can have this huge house, if it's compartmentalized, and it's hard to do anything with, it doesn't have the value as a lot of other houses you're going to see. The flow of the house, man, I just can't explain to you how important that is. I learned that one the hard way. Okay. Knowing your buyer, knowing how, when you do have a problem, how are you going to present that house? So you're going to have houses with problems. You're going to say, well, I've got this room back here, let's make that an office, right? How am I going to work this? This was a bedroom, it's a weird looking room, we can do something else with it, we can present it as an office or something to that effect, or maybe we want to turn it into a bedroom, it was an office. So knowing what our buyers and how we're going to sell our problem childs, because that's what you're going to have a lot of, is very, very important when you're starting your rehabs. Okay, anybody picking up anything yet? Yes or yes? This is all elementary, right? But it's reminding you maybe bringing you some things you didn't think about. Okay, tough houses, 2 bedrooms or less, small houses, those are tough. He's got one right now we could add square footage to. Could we add square footage in 2009? Why not? Price. Your price per square foot is high enough that we can add, if I could add square footage at $80 a square foot and my price per square foot's $120 and up, I can do it, right? Well, it wasn't $120 and up in 2009. It was, God, 70, average, and as low as 50 at some time. So we couldn't add square footage back then. So we could take 2-bedroom houses, but we got to understand that if you're not in an area on a 2-bedroom house where your price per square foot's not high enough, obviously we need to stay away. Be careful with those. You can do 2 bedrooms in 55 and over communities where their 2-bedroom is very well accepted, right? So knowing your market, knowing what you're doing, knowing how you look at it. You're looking at 2-bedroom houses where families are moving in 3 and 4 and 5-bedroom houses and the square footages are low, you're in trouble. I'm telling you right now, no one wants those houses. You'll see them all the time. You'll see them all the time. 800, 900 square foot houses in the middle of freaking East Side. You better buy them cheap. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Busy street. Oh my God. I've had so many busy streets. I hate busy streets. Get good deals on busy streets though. Your days on market could be a little bit longer. I've had so many houses on busy streets. Man. You just, you got to buy them right. It's the bottom line. You got to hopefully mitigate the noise. I mean, war zone, bad locations, that can work in this market now. You don't want to be in those areas in down markets. Low ceilings, oh my God. You guys ever had a low ceiling house? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's torture. be careful with anything. You'll walk in some of these houses in Tucson that have 7-foot ceilings. You know, and then you go into a different room that the guy put in himself, and it goes to 6 foot. It's a little 100 square foot house. I've seen one like that. 6 foot. Ceiling's right here because he built it himself, right? Stay away from them. That's all I got to say. No carport garage. Oh my God, that's the best one. Don't do houses in Tucson without carports and garages. If it doesn't have a carport, put one in. I'll tell you my famous story, and I struggled with many houses without carports. But my famous one is, I'm not doing a carport on this one. This is my last one. I'm not doing one. I've got a 1,500 square foot house, $130,000. I bought it for $75,000. I'm talking 2012 at Camino Seco and Broadway. Now, anybody know that location? Very good location, right? Right in, around the park there. Can't remember the park. Like, I got this. I got this. This is the house that I don't have to do a carport on. This is it. If anyone ever saw a house, this is it, right? Couldn't sell it. Couldn't sell it. So anyway, the average days on market in that time frame was probably 60 days. I was running into 90 days on this thing. And this is rehab. So my average days on market 60. On a rehab, I should get it to 45. Now these are, obviously I can sell it in 5 days. I can sell it in 20. But I'm just saying, we want our averages to be lower than the average because ours is the rehab house. Ours is the good one. Ours is the one that they want. Ours might be priced. We don't, in a down market, we want to be priced a little bit lower. In an up market, we can price it high, right? We got the one they want. So my average days on market 60, I want to be at 40. Does that make sense? I'm running into 90 on this thing, right? Fine, man. Gave up, took whatever offer, we went lower, took an offer, made the deal. I went out to get my lockbox. They were putting a carport in the house. I said, that's the last time. It's the last time I'm gonna do a carport. First day they own the house, putting the carport in. I went and got my lockbox. Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, how are you? They didn't know who I was. I said, that's my lockbox. And I wished I'd have put a carport in it too. Neighbors, oh my God. How many run into this problem? The Clampets. Who doesn't know what the Clampets are, by the way? Beverly Hillbillies. It's the Clampets. They lived in Beverly Hills and they were the neighbors. Right? All right. Bad renovation, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? How many have had a bad renovation? I've had that too. I've had a bad one. A couple of them when I didn't know anything. Okay, scope of work is a recap like the screenplay is to the movie, right? I'm emphasizing the scope of work. Detailed description needed, right? I mean, this is pretty simple. We don't have to lament on this too much. We've got to create a visual of the finished house, right? We got to convey this to the contractor, right? We got to walk through this scope of work. Why are we doing this scope of work, by the way? Less arguments, right? So the contractor has their own agendas, right? We have our own agendas. It is two separate agendas. This is to make money, and he doesn't give a shit. Ours is to make money, and we give a lot of shit, right? Because he's getting paid. We might not get paid, right? We might not. So that scope of work and our paperwork controls all that problem. Boom, knocks it right out. Knocks it right out. Okay, hiring contractors. This is, anybody want to add? I mean, Craigslist, right? Whatever. We got to think when we're hiring contractors, we're trying to find them. By the way, one thing that a lot of people don't do is go to the counters at Home Depot and you don't know contractors. You go talk to the pro desk at Home Depot and you ask those guys if you need a real good general contractor. Maybe you got a major league project where you're going to pull a lot of permits. You go down to the county and ask those guys at the county, hey man, who do you know? Those guys work with those contractors every day, and they know the guys that have their high and tight, they got their shit together. They come in, they got the paperwork, they got, look, I need this, this, and this, I'm setting all this up, and they're all organized, right? And then they know the guys that come in. Oh, yeah, I think I had it here, you know, they know those guys too, right? It's not hard for them to know who's the right guys and stuff. And that goes unnoticed. I mean, just be aware of that. So, but we're also going to control this contractor with our paperwork, and we'll get into that, right? Okay. So, you know, obviously we want to know about them, but guess what? A lot of times, if you got somebody ready to go and they seem good, and we don't know contractors anyway, we do have to depend on ourselves. We do have to depend on ourselves. If you're out there and you got a lot of experience, and you've done a lot of rehabs, and you know the people, and you know the values, and all well and good. But a lot of times, even I've done a lot of stuff, a lot of those guys I used to work with, they're gone now. I don't know where they are. I've got their phone numbers, their phone doesn't work. I've got everyone's phone numbers. Their phones don't work anymore. I can't even find them. So they disappear. They come and go. They come and go. So knowing them, knowing what they're up to, how many people they could pull. Now, of course, they may not have any employees, but how many subcontractors, how many guys do you know? It's a big one to know. How many guys you know? You know all the guys? You know my drywall guy? You got a good plumber? You got this? Obviously, I want to know them too. But what I'm looking for is a lead guy. I'm looking for a guy that can run a crew that does the work himself. That's what I look for. If you hire a general contractor, that's really a good way to go. No problem there, but it's going to be more money because he ain't working. He's running crews, right? He's licensed, he's not working. Guess what? All those guys, general contractors, top guys, they want to be their own contractor. They want to be their own general. And they're already realizing, I can do what that guy does. And they're all over the place, these lead guys. And they want to get out on their own. Well, guess what? When they get out on their own, they got to work. They don't have 4 jobs going on, right? So those guys break out by working. They got their crew. They got their guys that they know that they've worked with over the years, and they're good. They got the mentality of a general contractor, and they're trying to get to be a general contractor, and they do the work on it. I call them lead guys. I'm always looking for those guys. How many guys can you do? How many guys can you put together? How long have you done this? Boom, boom, boom. Because I know what my numbers are. I know that my lead guy in this market is going to make about $30 an hour. 35 maybe. It used to be lower. My second guy is going to make about 20, 22, 23. My third guy is going to make about 18. My lowest guy is going to make about 15. How many is that? How much money is that an hour? Right? How many hours a week am I working? 40. Now I know my labor costs where I'm trying to hit. So let's say my labor cost on a major rehab is $2,800 a week to $3,200 a week, depending on what I can get, right? Now I know what my labor cost is. So now I go in and say, what's my labor cost and how many weeks? Oh, I can do this in 6 weeks, and it's going to be $24,000. Boom. What do I know? He's at $4,000 a week, right? I'm at 28. We got some work to do, right? Now, is he always going to have 4 guys there? No. He might have 6 guys there sometimes. He might have 2 guys there when they're doing the flooring. But I average it out at 4, because typically you want to average at 4. You can average pretty much, it's not rockets, it's not science, I should say, but you can pretty much average that. How many picked up on that, what I just said? Because that's important. That's important. Most people don't know that. What you just learned tonight, most people don't look at it that way. How do I know this? I made it up. I made it up myself. I asked the questions. It's not hard. It's not hard to make up, but I made it up. I asked the questions. What do you pay your guy an hour? What do you pay him an hour? I started realizing what they get an hour. Boom, 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 boom. Now in this market, it's changing. They want more money, and that's okay. That's okay. We can actually make more money in this market. We can sell higher, and we can sell faster. And we can wholesale, and there's money all over the place. You can make more money You can't, on a deal, per deal, you should make more money in this market, per deal. In the down market, it's hard too. Money's tough, days on markets are long, you're not selling properties as fast, but you can get more deals. So it's 6 one way, half dozen the other, pretty much, right? It's always hard. It's always hard. You know? You go to most of these meetings, they don't tell you that because they're selling you something, right? Not selling you anything. It's hard. Not selling. Okay. Obviously, we want to project ourselves even when we don't, this is important, when we don't know what we're doing. Okay? It's okay. We don't know what we're doing. You come to networking meetings like this, I realize, well, shoot, I got to position myself the right way. Correct? You never come to a meeting like this, you're still going to be lost, right? I'm not going to say you're going to be 100% after one meeting, but at least bringing up some ideas. Man, I got to present myself right? How am I going to do that? I'm in business for the long haul. We're a redevelopment company, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Good boss makes men realize they have more ability than they think they have, so consistently better work than they thought they could. Now, why did I throw that up there? Because when your guys start going, we need to be out there and let them know that they're doing, find the stuff that needs to be corrected, of course, but you emphasize the stuff that's doing good. You bring them the lunch, you bring them the freaking coffee, whatever, and you've got to be out there making a few rounds. This is where I make a lot of my mistakes. But I found out that when I'm not involved, worse things happen. When I'm involved, I'm out there doing the right things, better things happen. Okay. Now, this is the important part of the whole situation, the whole rehab situation, which is our important documents. Because our important documents control the whole situation. Once we got our scope of work done and we're going to put it on paper, I don't really have to worry that much anymore because I'm going to do it right? So when we do our independent contractor agreement, it's going to spell out exactly what their work schedule is. It's going to spell out what their pay schedule is, which is the most important part of the agreement. Of course, the agreement's boilerplate. You need to do this work. You need to pull the contract. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to clean up after the site. You can't leave any trash. You can't leave, it spells out. It's boilerplate stuff. But the most important part to our agreement is that, guess what? You don't get paid until you reach this benchmark. You don't get paid until you reach that benchmark. You get this amount of money when you reach this benchmark. What's the benchmarks? Once you demo the house after the first week and you started your framing, boom, you get $2,500. Once you put in your electric and plumbing and I don't know, I can't think of my benchmarks, and you started your flooring, boom, you get this money. So your benchmarks they have to reach in order to get paid. Most important thing, right? Would you agree? Right? What do most people do? I want half the money up front. Can't do it. Man, I have a student in California just gave about 4 weeks ago a contractor $53,000 up front. Never taught her anything of the sort. Nothing. Did she go out and do the education? Did she do it? Did she learn this stuff? Did she know? No. She learned what she needed to know to get the deal. She got the deal, and then she was on her own. She was going to do it her way. Right? Dude said it was a $100,000 rehab in Southern California. Dude said, I need $53,000 up front. Took her relative's money, gave her $53,000. Gone. Dude's gone. Gone. It's a mess. Right now, as we speak, it's going on. I had her, she put in a complaint with the, she didn't even do anything, and I didn't know about it until like last week. It had been going on for like 3 or 4 weeks. And I said, did you file a complaint? It was register a contract. She said, oh no, I didn't know you could do that. Another thing, right? So now she's filed a complaint. That's, by the time they catch up with them, the money will be gone. So yeah, they'll put them in jail, fraud, and all that stuff, but who cares about the money, right? They'll get them, or he'll go somewhere, or you might get away with it. Okay, so our contractor agreement is our benchmarks in our contractor agreement is of most importance, right? Okay, scope of work, obviously we talked about that. That's going to coincide with the contract agreement. Your payment schedule and your benchmarks, exactly what we're talking about. Your indemnification agreement, insurance indemnification agreement. Okay, is it important that they are insured?
Yes.
Do we always get them insured? We should, but hey, judgment call. Because a lot of them are not going to be insured, and they give you a good price, and it's a risk. There is risk with that. But I take that risk sometimes. I'm not telling you to do it, but obviously the way we want to do it right is we want to make sure they have liability insurance, or I could put liability insurance on that property. Okay? Somebody was that?
Yeah, so do you make sure that the contractor has insurance and then you insure
Should.
the property itself?
A lot of contractors don't have insurance. I'm going to tell you right now.
Okay.
Okay, so your question is, do I make sure if they have insurance? And I'm telling you, many times I do jobs without insurance, without their liability insurance, which is not the best practice. Okay?
But you have insurance on the property.
I have insurance on the property, but what is it going to cover? I don't know when the shit hits the fan. So
if he's uninsured, one of his workers falls and cuts his arm
it's
off,
on you,
then it's your responsibility.
right?
Okay.
It could be, not always, but it could be. It depends. I don't know. There's a lot of details when you're talking about stuff like that. So it could go. There's so much I can't even explain to you. Some of the things that I always thought, oh my God, he's in trouble. No, he's not in trouble. It didn't work out that way. When you're talking about law and issues like this is tough. But when you're first starting out, you should have him have $1 million worth of insurance. Okay, this is one I miss all the time. I don't get my W-9s. Don't get my W-9s, finish the job, guess what? They're gone. Oh my God, now I'm chasing them. I need the W-9. They don't want to get your W-9 in. Get your W-9s done up front. Anybody does not know what a W-9 is? Okay, this is their social security number, and they're giving you their name and address. So when you do your books, when you finish your books, you are letting the IRS know that the money that you pay him is his property. I'm not paying taxes on that money. So they tax him with a W-9, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so basically they're a 1099 employee in essence.
Is it his security, his social, or is it his EIN number?
Either.
Oh, okay.
If he has an LLC, it would be his EIN number. If it is just go on by his person, it would be a social security number. EIN numbers is just that. It's basically a tax ID number. Okay. Final, I miss this a lot. Final unconditional waiver and lien. This happened to me one time. Okay. Got through a whole deal. I never got the lien waiver at the end. Lien waiver is, hey, I did all the work. You don't owe me any more money. I will not put a lien against your property, right? Boom. I didn't get a lien waiver. Okay. He came back to me and said, you know what? You owe me like $6,000 more. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I owe you $6,000 more. Oh yeah, man, we did extra stuff. We did this and we did that. Well, in my contract, the boilerplate stuff, it says, if you have extra stuff to do, you gotta let me know and we'll do a change order, right? And my contract, it specifically says, I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I told you that on the phone that we're doing that. I said, I didn't realize that you were charging for that. You know, he says, I got to move this and I got to move that. He's sitting here telling me, didn't know how to present himself. He said, hey, we got to charge more money for this, charge money for that. Actually, it was kind of a flaky thing. It was bullshit. He just realized he didn't get enough money. So he started bringing up stuff that to try to get more money. That's what he tried to do, right? So anyway, I didn't think anything of it, and I didn't know. I had never had this happen to me before. And I got the thing in the mail that he was going to put a lien on my property. And I thought, well, I don't have anything to worry about because I've got my contracts done right? This is my first time, this is my first rodeo. This is how I learned the hard way. My contract's done right. I've got every receipt, paperwork, everything he was paid. It matches up to the contract. We actually did have a change order and he did get paid a little more money. I had that. I had all my documents in place, right? What you got, dude? What you got? Right? But I didn't know that I'm supposed to go and get that handled before it goes to close, right? So lo and behold, I get to the closing table, boom, $6,000 lien pops up. Now, my boy, Street Smart Secrets, Lou Brown, through his training in a class like this, but online and in my paperwork, I had read. If you ever have a lien on a property from a contractor and you get to the closing, you can indemnify the title company and work out the problem with the lien. Now, I'm at the closing table. I'm making good money this time. Most people would have just said, all right, we're paid, right? See that? Right? Can't believe it. I did everything right. I said, this is what I want to do. I want to identify you. Where's the paperwork? They didn't even know what that was. The title agent goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm going to identify a title agency. I want you to hold that paperwork. I got to hold one. I'm supposed to hold one and a third of the money, and then I'll figure this out. I'll straighten this out. Because I don't even know what you're talking about. I said, well, you better find out. You got to go talk to somebody. You better ask somebody. So they went out and they talked, and they came back and said, you can do that. We have paperwork for that. I said, yay! Because I thought, man, Lou Brown doesn't know what he's doing. You know? He told me I could do this, right? So boom, she came back. So I signed all the paperwork. So they kept $9,000 out of the deal in escrow till I could figure this stuff out. So kept my $9,000 out of the deal. I got paid. I went through all the motions. We went to register of contractors. I called the register of contractors. We filed a claim. We went to a hearing. And they found out, which was unbeknownst to me, that his license had expired. Anyway. So I didn't want to hurt the guy, right? Now we get into the hearing, and he pulls me to the back. See, Craig, come here, man. Come here, man. I said, man, I'm in trouble. I don't have a license. I didn't know that they were telling him all, they had already told him, you in trouble. Get to the hearing. I didn't know all this. When I got to the hearing, he told me, we in trouble. He says, what you could do is, he's school. He says, man, just help me. Just do whatever. Just take whatever fine you can take. Just, let me off the hook. I said, okay, fine. So we had to go through the hearing. They asked me, Mr. Barton, do you want something to the fact that you want to press charge? I said, you know what? We actually came to a settlement. He's going to pay me $100 and we're done. And then the register of contractor was kind of mad at me because I didn't want to move forward with it. But I let him off the hook. I wasn't after blood. I just wanted my $9,000 back, right? So we went to the back. I didn't even take any money from him. So we let him off the hook and everything was good. He loves me. How about that? Okay, so the point I'm making is that that's a great thing to do is get your lien waivers and so on. Change order forms we just talked about. Your final inspection checklist, very important, right? Our punch list. Builder's risk and vacant dwelling insurance. I don't need that because my State Farm actually covers me through that, but you may be in situations where you do need to get that type of insurance on it if it's going to be vacant. And that, my friend, is it. Anybody pick up anything from this?
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a rehabbing, and that's an exit strategy. Obviously, we have a lot of other, I'm always open to suggestions for whatever you guys want to hear. Last time we had a class, they wanted to hear about lease options. We did the lease option class. So anything that you guys would want to talk about in future meetings. Subject to, exit strategies, marketing, anything?
Subject to.
Subject to is, okay. Anybody not know what a subject to is? Okay, subject to existing mortgage. It's when I buy a property and leave a mortgage in place. Subject to the existing mortgage. Now, there's a lot of things to know about that. So I just did one on a VA loan. Drexel. Just did one on a VA loan. On a VA loan, you can actually take a property subject to, and you can do a wrap on a subject to legally. A mirror wrap on a VA loan where they cannot enforce the due on sale clause. So that's cool. When you have a VA loan, you can do a wrap. A wrap is a form of a subject to. A wrap, anybody not know what a wrap is? Okay, because I don't want to repeat it, you guys all know this. But a wrap is where I have a loan, right? I have a loan in place. I'm going to wrap my name around that loan, but not take the title of the house. Now, in a wrap, you can actually have a second position loan if you're buying from a seller too. Maybe they wanted 10 grand and they're willing to take payments under 10 grand. Well, you would wrap the 10 grand plus you would wrap the existing loan. Now, what the wrap basically says is that I am not taking title to this house until this agreed upon payment is made. So once my agreed upon payment is made at a certain time, it could be forever until the loan's paid off. It could be 5 years. Maybe the seller wants, well, I want it paid off in 5 years. Well, my wrap would say, as long as I make all my payments for the next 5 years, I'm going to get the title of this house. And it's all spelled out in a note. So you wrap the title so you're not on title. And then when you pay that, whatever you agreed to down, you get the title. It's almost kind of like a car loan, I guess. Well, it's not like a car loan. But that's a wrap. And this is a wrap. All right, you guys hop up.